Welcome to Season 4, Episode number 6 of the Outlap F1 Podcast. It's our first official Bahrain Grand Prix race preview. You've got Andy. I'm along with James tonight. It's our dynamic duo formation. James, how we doing?
Just listening to you say those words felt so good, Andy. We are so close to race day. So close.
Yes, exactly.
I cannot wait. And it's like, you know, we get excited enough for free practice throughout the year, whatever, just because we get cars on track and things. But like this, I feel like the first races, free practice sessions are just even more of a tease because we're still not truly seeing where these teams, where their cars are at until Saturday when they're actually racing in anger and putting down some time. So I'm excited for Friday, watch a couple free practice sessions, but I'm really freaking excited for Saturday. Because I continue to chug that Ferrari Kool-Aid, and I need to know if it's real or if it's all been a ruse. But I'm feeling good right now, Andy.
Yeah, I think this will describe my feelings on this weekend. For more reasons than one, it is totally time to go racing again in 2022. Yeah. And I am pumped up for it. I mean, I got my full gear on. I got all sorts of stuff going on, too. So I just ordered my new, parted with some money and ordered my new team kit for this year. So I got stuff coming in the mail. And it's all exciting. It's all F1 stuff. I love it.
How long has it taken for you to get yours? Have you gotten a due
I haven't got it yet. I just ordered it a couple of days ago.
Okay, because I know
it may take a bit.
My wife ordered me a Ferrari hoodie for my birthday, but it's not even supposed to come in until like I think it actually comes in March 24th, which is the day after I leave for Florida. So I can't even have it with me for that weekend. But I guess that's another problem of living in the States and loving F1 is like anytime you order anything from the F1 store, it takes forever to get.
Yeah, I was shocked. Apparently, the McLaren stuff, they have some sort of like a satellite in New York. So it's just going to come from New York to here. So if that's the case, I should get it hopefully like next week. So I was excited. Nice. Well, I saw the email that it shipped like after the day I ordered it. I'm like, that's fast.
Wow. Nice. Yeah.
But again, let's see if that actually happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can find our show on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Reddit, and, of course, YouTube at Outlet F1 Podcast. Please do see the link tree on our Twitter page for all of those appropriate links. Do us a solid if you're on YouTube. Click the like and subscribe button. Or if you're on your favorite podcasting app, please, if you have the ability to, leave us a 5-star review. That just helps us get more content to you. You can email the show at chatnow@outlapf1.com. You can check out our wonderful website, which James now has all the keys to the Ferrari, so to speak, on our website at www.outlapf1.com. I think he's got it just about all the way updated, but we're going to have some new updates coming very shortly. Just as a reminder, please do feel free to check out for our F1 for Beginners, our series. We have the recording. It is our Season 4, Episode 4, but we also have the series on YouTube. So 3 parts. We broke it up to try to make it a little easier for you to get read up on the sport we love and we love to talk about, Formula One. Please do check out Relap with Deanna. Her livery rankings video is up and out there for you. She's working very quickly and very hard on her DTS reaction video. I think she's doing some edits today. She's got a whole Twitter thread about it, so go check that out. It will be a great time, as she likes to say. Outlap F1 Nation. If you'd like to become a member of the Outlap F1 Nation and join the ranks of such fine folks as Jonathan Scott, Cody Walsh, Kevin Kelly, Regan Stanzik, Richard Cole, Travis Colby, Timothy Brown, Hillary Rose, Mary Brown, and, of course, Matt Polanski from the Red Sector MotoGP podcast, please feel free to check out our support page. We'll put our link in the show notes for that, $1, $5. You can see I've got the soundboard up and running tonight, so we hope to be able to do more stuff like that in the near future. Please feel free to check that out. As a final thing, remember, we are still promoting the good folks at Manscaped. Please feel free to take advantage of the 20% off and the free shipping. by going to their website, manscaped.com, and use our code OUTLAP. That's OUTLAP, all one word. As a final reminder, before we actually hop into this thing proper, we do have our F1 Fantasy League, and I think we had like 18 people sign up for it so far. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I've got my team set up. So good time. Feel free. We've got our code. I think will actually also be in the show notes. It's relatively easy to do, even though I thought I crashed the F1 Fantasy site yesterday. Apparently I didn't. But it's up and running and it's all working again. So feel free to go check that out. So now we get into our proper start of our first Grand Prix weekend, and we do have a lot of news to talk about. The first story up on our docket is if you were planning on going to Circuit of the Americas and you didn't act today, good luck. You are now in the secondary market, at least if you were looking for 3-day reserve tickets. They lasted a whole whopping 5 hours. Less supply due to changes for 2022. There's an article, a couple tweets by Adam Stern. One of the things they want to try to do is actually reduce some of the capacity just because there were so many people last year. Get a better traffic plan. Thank the Lord. More shuttle hours. They could definitely use that. Deanna can attest to that. And better concession throughout the venue. I would also agree with that from some of the horror stories that I heard. Different points, options, and of course some ADA enhancements because it was kind of like a free-for-all last year. So I think that's good on the circuit to try to get they obviously are taking lessons from last year and trying to enhance them.
Yeah, it seems to make sense. Like we've talked about before, I was supposed to be there last year with you guys. Had to miss it due to coming down with a little bit of a sickness there that weekend. But it seems like I missed pure chaos. So anything they're doing to try and help that is going to be huge. I think now that they've set the record for the biggest ever attended event, they can always hold on to that title, or at least until it's broken. But in the meantime, I think they need to focus on the fan experience. And letting less people in and kind of trying to figure some of those things out will be key. I saw on there more shuttles, which sounds good, but it's kind of needs a better plan of getting the shuttles in and out too. It seems
Correct.
Because you could throw 1 million shuttles at the problem, but if they can't get in or out, it's not going to get any better.
The endemic problem is there's 2 roads that get in and out of that circuit. Yeah. There's one in the front and one in the back, and they were both 2-lane highways. So unless you can somehow finally make it bigger or build another one, I don't know exactly what they're going to be able to do. I'm interested to see. I will tell you, I thank God I bought my tickets when I did. So I'm good and covered, and I think I've actually already got my hotel room booked and paid for. So I will be down there in hopefully all of my normal seat glory, and hopefully we'll get everybody down there too. But I don't know. James, I don't think you're coming, but I know John and Deanna were interested, and we were trying to find them tickets today, and it was a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It sounds like Deanna may have got some. John, I think, is still looking. I'm going to be in Austin in September. I think it's 10th for the Texas-Alabama game, so I don't know if I can pull off 2 Austin trips that close together, but that just gives me a chance to save up more money for when they announce Las Vegas.
Yeah, there you go. And that looks like it's coming. I saw an article today, differently, not necessarily in our doc here, but I heard I'm in it within 2 weeks. So stand by for that. We will break that as soon as we can. That definitely looks like it's being a reality.
That'd be cool.
Yep. So other news stories heading into this weekend. Daniel Ricardo, who did not take part in the last test due to having COVID, he has cleared all of the protocols and is good to race this weekend. McLaren released a statement out this morning confirming all of that, so he should be all good to go. Doesn't appear that there's any sort of repercussions or anything negative from his experience with COVID, at least so far. And speaking of McLaren, they also made a lot of headlines today. They have bagged Google and Android as a brand partner. They will use Google and Android devices on site, and the wheel covers will be the very easy to spot Google colors. So what you saw is these blue stripes during the test will now have the traditional red, green, and yellow all over the place. We were going back and forth. It's a win for Team Android. Deanna is very happy and likes to yell at us because I think the rest of us all have iPhones. She's got the solo Android amongst the group. So Good for them. I'm fully aware of the irony of loving that as a team, but hating the fact that or not being able to use any of their products, because I don't know how at this point. Once you kind of learn one or the other, I think you're pretty much set.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the numbers on it, but it seems like it's a pretty good deal. Any money coming in is always good, and getting another big brand sponsor into F1 can never be a bad thing, I guess. So it seems like a good deal for McLaren. Nice job by Zach Brown.
Yeah, hopefully that, obviously more sponsorship dollars, better stability all the way around, I think is a good thing for that team. So that makes me super excited. I mean, I saw a couple of the fan base this morning releasing pictures from like what the car looked like in 2016, 3 names on the car, what the car looked like in the test, and you count like 8 or 9 different names on the car. So, and they've got a rotation now. So it's not one big title sponsor, but it's an amalgamation of little ones. And that's definitely a path to get the sponsorship dollars up. So good on Zach Brown. I think I wouldn't say mission accomplished, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. All right, next story. Colton Herta, IndyCar championship contender, will be given some F1 test drives, and this looks like it's going to pave the way for a super license path for him. Hello, Andretti Global. I think they're calling. I think that we know who they want their driver to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this was real exciting. But quick note, that's 3 straight McLaren stories in our news segment.
I know.
So I wonder who set up the agenda this week. But yeah, super exciting.
A lot of headlines. What can I tell you? Good or bad?
The Andretti Global stuff obviously is super exciting for us as U.S. fans. A chance to get Colton Herta, even though it's last year's car, to get him in an F1 car, get him some testing time. This is going to be huge. Sounds like it could be kind of like a handshake deal between Andretti and Zach Brown, who are buddies, to get him some seat time. I guess there's some questions, though, about what that means for Pato O'Ward, why he's not involved with that, maybe. But I didn't realize until I was watching a video earlier today that I didn't realize Pato's contract with Arrow McLaren is up after this season in IndyCar, and then he'll be a bit of a free agent, so it'll be interesting to see where he goes next. But I know he's definitely got aspirations for F1 as well.
Yeah,
which I'd be excited about with him. But at the end of the day, I want a U.S. driver in F1 as soon as possible, and it looks like Colton Herta is our best chance right now. So hopefully he crushes the test that he gets, and it's only onward and upward from here.
Yeah, I mean, 3 names if you're U.S. fans to really keep an eye on. Colton Herta obviously being the best one. 2 would be Logan Sargent, who's going to be competing in F2. So if he can show well and have a full year in that type of spec, I think that's really good for him. And then 3, Kyle Kirkwood, because that's another Andretti camp guy who has won everything that he's ever been in. So if he can continue to kind of put his name in the ladder, you could maybe have 3 or 4. You could have 2 actual drivers and an American reserve. Wouldn't that be just go all in, go that way?
Yeah.
So there's lots of possibilities. Assuming the Andretti Global thing does happen, and it certainly looks like from everything that I've read, they want it to happen. They're just going to kind of bang the door down and just say, "Let us in." All right. Next story. This will also be good for all of the American fans out there. ESPN United States coverage will continue to be their F1 coverage will continue to be commercial free on at least Sundays for sure. They used to do it commercial-free on Saturdays, but then Sky actually worked commercial breaks into their coverage, so ESPN just had to copy that. But the Sunday coverage will be commercial-free, thanks to, of course, Mother's Polish. I think I know if I want to go buy car wax, I think I know what brand I'm going to buy now.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the best things about F1 is that there's just no commercials, and you get to watch the whole thing, because then you watch the IndyCar race, and that is my least favorite thing about IndyCar, because it's just so many commercials, and it's like they purposely pick the worst time sometimes, it feels like. And it's nice having the side-by-side, but it totally takes you out of the rhythm of the race and everything. So to be able to be commercial-free is huge, especially for an American audience with our short attention spans and things. We need to be stimulated at all times. and not with silly commercials. So super exciting to see that. And yeah, I think I'm just going to go out and buy some Mother's Polish tomorrow just to celebrate.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And we thank them and we love them and we're super grateful for them doing that yet again. Bit of FIA news that came out. The Formula One safety car rules have basically been changed to make it virtually impossible. I never say never with that group. But for a race to be ended in the way that the 2021 controversial title decider was, the aforementioned any, which was such the point of contention, that has now been officially changed to all. So all lapped runners will have to pass the safety car once if they are allowed to do so. We cannot just pick and choose. We are probably slated to get the official report possibly sometime this weekend, according to the timing. But it looks like they're trying to just kind of say, okay, whatever, it happened. We didn't love it. Let's just move on.
So I was going to ask you that, Andy, because I try and not dive too deep into a lot of this with this report, and it happened, and nothing's going to change what happened, and I understand why a lot of Lewis fans are so invested in this report and what's going to happen. They feel wronged and things, but for me, it's like I don't want to keep rehashing that ugliness. I want to move forward. But what do you think is the goal? Or I don't see any way that Lewis fans are going to be happy, no matter what this report says, unless it says we're voiding lap 58.
Right.
Lewis Hamilton's the champion. But honestly, even if I was a Lewis fan, that wouldn't make me happy. I don't want to win a championship like that if I'm a fan of Lewis Hamilton.
No, not at this point. Too much time has passed.
Yeah. So it's like nothing's going to make him happy. But what could come out of this that I think would be a good resolution in your eyes?
Steps to make sure that whatever that circumstance of events, and this rule I think is definitely a step in the right direction to make sure that something like that can't happen. That and we talked about it when it happened. What did I want to see? I wanted to see a chart that said, with so many laps to go, this is our standard set of procedures. This is what we all agree, all 10 teams. This is what we want to do if a race result is possibly in dispute. If we have a wreck on such and such a lap, this would be our automatic thing. We know this. It's within 2 laps of the checkered flag. Sorry, the race is probably going to end under safety car if we deploy one. 3 to 5 laps, probably we're going to red flag it, do the red flag, restart procedure, however that is. But we all know that. So this way, anybody who wants to pit can come in and pit. Anybody who doesn't want to pit isn't going to pit. And it puts everybody on the same level. As long as that's what's going on, I think then this report it'll be what it'll be. Like you said, I don't think there will be one more blow up across social media, I'm sure, just because it's a tinderbox and it's waiting for anything. And then hopefully then we can kind of put this finally within the rearview mirror. They're never going to go back. And
it's like it feels like some people want they want this admission of guilt, But I don't. That's not going to accomplish anything. Massey's been removed.
Correct. I think all of the steps. To jail. Right. I think all of the steps that could have been done, to the most part, have been done. The only thing that I have that I find suspect is just the timing that they waited so long. How much did you really have to investigate? And I do think part of it was the old regime, and then the new regime comes in. The new regime is just, okay, we got to get the lay of the land, and we wanted to make sure we gave ourselves plenty of time. Fine. But, go ahead, issue the report. Let's just get it out in the open, what happened. I can then finally tell you what I think my conspiracy theory was, but what I think actually happened, because I didn't see it even in Drive to Survive. I was looking for something, and I didn't see it even with all the Drive to Survive links.
Yeah, as much as I don't want to be on Twitter that day, I want it to happen so we can just have the. Well, yeah,
and there's so much good happening with the sport anyway. Our first story tonight was U.S. Formula One tickets sold out in 5 hours.
Yeah.
10 years ago, when they first built that track, that was it was because it was maybe the first year it sold out. But there were years where they didn't sell out; they weren't even close.
Yeah.
So I mean, just to go from that to where we are now, we're talking about commercial-free coverage, which means ESPN wants to do it. I mean, there's so much good going on in the sport. We just and the new cars and the new racing formula and all that. Let's focus on that
Exactly.
and not just be stuck in whatever last year was. I mean, it was a terrible moment. We said it at the time. I agreed with it at the time. I said it wasn't going to sit well. It didn't throughout the entirety of the off season. But it is what it is at this point, and we got to go forward at some point.
Agreed.
And speaking of Mercedes, they did get some good news from the FIA. Their mirrors are approved and good to go. So any sort of controversy or potential protest looks to be pretty much stuffed out before that spark could ever gain any traction or any fire. They've been approved, and it looks like they're going to be able to run their side pod design, assuming that they can get the car to make weight, which all of the cars apparently last week were, I think, still overweight. So all the cars will have to make weight effectively to get on the grid. But the mirrors, the design of the mirrors have been basically signed off on by the FIA.
Isn't the weight thing more of an issue of they want to be lighter? Because isn't it just a minimum weight, not necessarily a maximum weight?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It seems like, I think, was it Alfa Romeo was like,
well, they wanted them to get more. Maybe I stated that wrong. Where they have to make weight the other way.
Yeah. Because I saw. I'm trying to remember what the equation was, but it was something like teams are trying to get rid of like just 2 or 3 kilos, and that was like the equivalent of like a tenth or two. It's like, dang, that's crazy. But I mean that adds up, and that's one.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean that's why you have matte. That's why you see the matte paint finishes on a lot of liveries.
Yeah.
Because the gloss weighs more. All right. So we are going to take just a quick break. We'll come on back. We will hop into our track facts and get you all primed and ready for the weekend. And we've got our first iteration of our predictions game coming up. So come on back. There's probably a few twists in it this year. All right. Welcome back to Season 4, Episode 6 of the Outlap F1 podcast. It's our first official race preview of the season. It's the Bahrain GP race preview. And James, tell us about the Bahrain International Circuit.
All right, yeah. Thanks to Pirelli Motorsport, we have the track facts located in Sakir, Bahrain. Total laps, 57. The track length is 5.412 kilometers or 3.362 miles. Total of 15 turns. The tire selection for this weekend is the C1 hards, C2 medium, and C3 softs. The track characteristics, we got traction and braking rated at 4 out of 5, tire stress and lateral load 3 out of 5, track evolution 4 out of 5, asphalt grip 3 out of 5, asphalt abrasion 5 out of 5, and downforce 3 out of 5. The qualifying lap record set by Lewis Hamilton back in 2020 with a minute 27.264, which I don't anticipate hitting this weekend. The race lap record was Pedro de la Rosa, minute 31.447 from 2005. Had to ask Andy who the hell that was because I had no idea. Most wins at the track, Lewis Hamilton with 5, Sebastian Vettel with 4, Fernando Alonso with 3, and Felipe Massa with 2. Most constructor wins tied between Ferrari and Mercedes with 6 apiece. Behind them, you got Renault and Red Bull with 2 apiece. Andy, why don't you tell us what the circuit is like?
So, you can usually expect great racing and decent amounts of overtaking in Bahrain, and we sure hope with this new formula we see lots of overtaking. While the drivers have to contend with the wind, racing under the floodlights, and the difficulty of finding a decent setup with the wide temperature fluctuations between the sessions. The track's most challenging point is the tight downhill off-camber turn 10 left-hander, while the fast run through turn 12 is another highlight, allowing racers to really feel their cars coming alive. As for that weather, on qualifying day on Saturday, we expect it to be sunny and pleasant, high 77, cooling to 63 degrees after the sun goes down, Winds, it will be fairly windy. Winds northwest 10 to possibly 22 miles per hour. So watch out for the gusts. 0% chance of rain. And then for the race day on Sunday, a high of 81. Again, cooling down to possibly around 62 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds, again, out of the northwest at 12 to 18 miles per hour. So again, could be some gusts there. Again, zero chance of rain. So we are just going to go ahead, because we took our break earlier. We're just going to go ahead and start up our little game, and it's back. It's our, hopefully we're not going to prices rate each other too much this season. We've taken some steps to try to avoid us doing that. We'll see if we've actually managed to pull this off.
Yeah, if we do now, it was completely by chance. This is top
we
secret.
Actually have like we've actually invented security protocols in our agenda now to be able to actually keep us from seeing each other's stuff. So we've just taken the covers off. So it's like a livery reveal, basically, every time we go to do this now. So as we are apt to start, we start, as always, with the qualifying pole sitter. That will be the person who gets the pole position on Saturday this weekend. So, James, we'll start with you. Who do you got?
Well, this shouldn't surprise anybody. I've got my boy, Charles Leclerc, getting the first pole of the season. First of many of this season.
All right. Lock it in. James is riding with Charles Leclerc for pole. Looks like you have some company with that. Looks like John will also be riding with Charles Leclerc on pole position.
Always good to see John come to his senses a little bit.
I can't quite get there. I want to. I just can't do it. You got to take it from Max. And maybe they do, but I'm going to go with MaxVerstappen for pole. That last test lap looked pretty good. I'm still seeing the smirking of Helmut Marko and Adrian Newey in that garage from last week. So I will run with Max. And Deanna's going to get her picks in a little bit later, so we will reveal them and when we do the final scoring on Sunday. So our lap time, and I do think we've managed to actually do this we're not all on top of each other.
Yep.
James, what you got for your qualifying lap time?
All right, so the last year, I don't know if you already said it, last year was Verstappen with a minute 28.997. I think we all agree that we're expecting it to be a little bit slower this year, at least to start the year. So I've got it at a minute 29.326.
Minute 29.326. Lock it in. I'm going with I don't think we're going to hit that lap time from last year. I think there's too many issues with the cars going on, so I do think they won't be. They'll be a little smoother, but I don't think they'll be quite as fast. So I'm at a minute 29.547, and for John, he's clocking in with a minute 29.892.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so switching from qualifying to the race, as we are apt to do, we always start with our race podium. James, what you got?
Once again, no surprise. Charles Leclerc getting the first of many wins this season in Bahrain. Behind him, Max Verstappen finishing in second. And on the third step of the podium, I have Carlos Sainz.
Very Ferrari heavy podium with Max in the middle. John is actually kind of agreeing with you. He has Charles Leclerc taking the win. This was the site of one of his more tragic non-wins, so this may be revenge tour for Charles this weekend, with LewisHamilton coming in second place and Max Verstappen rounding out the podium in third place.
You know,
I'm going...
I just... This Mercedes thing, right? I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been watching some YouTube videos, and everybody just assumes they're sandbagging. And we look at the stat about, they haven't been the fastest in testing since whatever, and they keep winning 8 straight constructors. They've been sandbagging, right? However, as I said a little bit in our predictions episode, last episode, I don't think it's just sandbagging. Maybe there's a little bit. Every team's sandbagging a little bit. But it's like every other year leading up to this, Mercedes was the dominant team of the hybrid era, right? So they had to sandbag. This year, everything's different. So I really think they're going to struggle out of the gate. I don't think it's just sandbagging. I just want to say that again. And I'm going to keep saying it as long as I'm right.
Which may be up until Sunday.
Or Saturday.
Or Saturday.
I got to get it in one last time. All right.
No, I mean, as we talked about in our predictions, I think this is got to be the most legit. They've looked vulnerable.
Yep.
Since like 2013. Obviously, 2014 and beyond, they've just been dominant and far and away the best going into any season. Last year, they were a little step off, but boy, did they develop in that between the test and the race. But I think last year they had more time between the test and the race to do those developments and get those parts in. You've had 6 days between when you're going to run your last test run and when you're going to be on the track for FP1.
Yep.
That's asking a lot on a concept that may be proven out, but we don't necessarily know yet. So I just think it's asking a lot. So I don't have any Mercedes driver in the top 3 this weekend. I still say I'm riding with you take it away from Max until I see somebody do that. So I got Verstappen P1. I do think Ferrari are going to show really well here, though. And based on my predictions, I'm saying Carlos Sainz P2, Charles Leclerc maybe rounding out the podium in P3.
Wishful thinking for you there to have an early lead on me in our bet.
Well, I'm going with that, too. I got to be consistent. All right. So our fastest lap and the driver. And we've got some different names in here for this go-around. Mm-hmm. James, what you got?
Well, I'm going to toss you this little point in our bet. I got Carlos Sainz with the fastest lap. Last year was Bottas at a minute 32.090. I've got Sainz at 133.326. 326 is my lucky number, by the way. So that's what I went with my lap times. Also happens to be my birthday.
Oh, nice. Okay, so 133.326. John, sticking with his Mercedes theme, he believes George Russell will set the fastest lap time. He has it pretty damn quick, too. A 132.990. We will see how that shakes out over the course of the weekend. I am sticking with the Ferrari theme, and I'm basically giving you your point back on this one. Charles Leclerc, I think, will probably set a fast lap. If Sainz and Verstappen are clear, somebody's got to get those red tires on at the end and do it. I think Charles Leclerc is as good as a candidate as anybody. So 134.879. I don't see pure pace in these cars yet. I could be proven wrong, but we shall see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for our bonus picks, we are going with positions 8, 9, and 10. So we're doing the top end of the scoring points and the bottom end of the scoring points. James, what's your thought on 8, 9, and 10?
My thought is that it was pretty much impossible to try and figure this out. The top 3 came pretty easy. I think I know what 2 teams are the favorites, at least in my eyes, going in. But this midfield is going to be something else, I think. It's going to be pretty crazy, I hope. I think it's going to end up this way. But for me, this race at least, in P8, I've got George Russell. P9, Danny Ricardo. And P10, Fernando Alonso. I'll do John's here. John in P8 has Kevin Magnussen, his first race back. Fernando Alonso in P9, and Lando Norris in P10.
All right. And I'm going with Fernando Alonso in P9, Lance Stroll in P10, and Pierre Gasly dragging that AlphaTauri into the points at P10 for the single solitary point there. So moving on, our prop bet this week, because we have no idea what reliability is actually going to look like. We're going to go with the total amount of DNFs So I'm going to lead it off here. I'm going to say we may have 5 retirements. I think reliability could be a thing here, just given the nature of the circuit. It's very bumpy, and given what I've seen through the tests. John is right on my heels here, but not quite. He's saying 4 retirements. And James, what do you have?
I'm right there with John. I got 4 as well. This was tough too because it's so uncertain. Like you said, with the reliability, you never know when McLaren's brakes are going to catch fire, so anything could happen. and not everybody's going to finish this race. I would be shocked if even 19, 20 cars finish this race. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, with a new formula and the first time really at race distance, the only thing about the McLaren brake situation that I'm happy with is that this whole thing is going to be done at night. So it will be when it's cooler, and that's when these things have not been a problem. But from what I've read, that they think they're going to have it sorted by FP1, but we'll see. It'll be my point to watch for FP1. Do they get on top of that brake issue? So just wanted to give you guys, before we head on out of here, with our practice sessions, because everything is a little bit different this year. So free practice 1 will start on Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. So it's a little later than typical. Practice 2 will happen between 11 and noon on the East Coast, and that's 10 to 11 a.m. here. Practice 3 on Saturday, again, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. Qualifying. Make time to watch the qualifying this weekend. It's going to be fascinating. The first time we've seen this new formula really, truly in anger. I am so hyped for that. I think I will live tweet it for everybody this weekend. So qualifying happening on Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. And the race, our first official race of this new formula and of this season, comes to you 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. Book those times, make the time. It's going to be worth it. I'm confident in that. James, any final thoughts heading into our lovely first weekend of the year?
No, man, I'm just pumped. Like I said at the beginning of the show, F1 is back, baby. And it's like not even 100 days since it ended. I feel like the offseason went by fairly quick. There was enough going on, enough excitement. And it's going to be a long season, Andy. I think we'll see if we get that 23rd back on the calendar. But I just love doing this podcast with you guys. I love doing the previews with you. It's going to be mostly me and you, I think, on the previews this season. So I'm excited for that. We set another goal every year. We try and set goals for where we want to be on listeners, and we've been hitting them every year. With your guys.
Yeah, so thank you to everybody in the Outlap F1 Nation, whether you give to us or not. Just the fact that you click yes on playing this show. Yeah. It's amazing.
Every click, every download, so every 5-star rating, every subscription on YouTube. I mean, we truly appreciate all of it. We wouldn't be here without you guys listening. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell whoever. We love this sport. You love this sport. Just get more people into it. Nothing wrong with that. So let's just get this damn thing started, Andy. I wish we were turning this off to go watch it right now.
Exactly.
Oh, and actually, one other note. I did start last night mistakenly because it was like 10:30 and I was getting into bed and I was like, I forgot I wanted to check out that F2 show. Now I'm blanking on the name of it.
On F1 TV.
Yeah. And I started it last night and it's pretty awesome. And so I was up way too late watching that, so I'm about to go watch some more of that for my fix until F1 starts. But that's kind of what I'm looking for out of a Drive to Survive type thing, because it kind of sticks to the real stuff.
I actually thought, just in terms of the last couple races, I don't know if anyone in the U.S. has had the opportunity to watch it, but there's a Sky documentary called Duel, which kind of chronicles last year. If you get a chance to find it, if it's out there in the ether somewhere, it's a Sky Sports documentary. Oh, okay, it's on F1 TV. So go check that out. Like, if you want kind of the anti-Drive to Survive treatment of the last few races, go watch that. Yeah. And it's some really smart commentary on one heck of a finale.
Yeah.
Whether you're for it or against it, it was still a heck of a thing. So with that, I'm going to close out with one of these. And as always, may all your laps be fast.